Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, I address you, the chosen ones of Allah, those whose hearts seek truth beyond the visible. This message is not for everyone, but only for those who are ready to hear a powerful call. An activity so seemingly simple, yet so meaningful, can transform your relationship with your Creator. Imagine for a moment that this activity is the key that unlocks the doors to an inexhaustible light. A light that pierces through doubts, fears, and trials. This is not a simple ritual. It is not a habit to be taken lightly. It is an invitation to draw closer to Allah than ever before. Are you ready to discover this activity that distinguishes the chosen ones? Those who advance on the luminous path despite the storms? If so, stay with me until the end. For what you are about to learn could forever change the way you walk in this world. Don't close your eyes now. Don't let this video slide by without paying full attention. Because sometimes, light hides in what we think is ordinary. There is one essential spiritual activity that Allah's chosen ones never neglect, even when the world around them seems to be spinning at full speed. This activity is the key that opens the heart, that purifies the soul, and that brings the servant closer to his Creator in a unique and powerful way. You may have heard of this practice, but are you sure you understand how crucial it is? Or worse, are you underestimating it? This activity is the deep reflection, a tadabbur, on the word of Allah. Sincere meditation on His signs, His commandments, and His infinite wisdom. The chosen ones know that it is not simply reciting the Quran with their lips, but letting it penetrate to the innermost part of their hearts. Their hearts do not remain insensitive. They vibrate, they cry, they change. Why? Because they know that the Quran is a mirror. And in this mirror, they see their own souls, their strengths and weaknesses, their lights and their dark areas. It is through this activity that the believer straightens up, questions himself, and decides to correct his trajectory. The chosen ones are not content with a superficial faith. They cultivate this connection through this moment of solitude with Allah, where the world fades away, distractions disappear, and one listens only to the divine voice. They know that this activity is a battle against the ego, against temptations, and against the spiritual sleep that lies in wait for every heart. By delving into this meditation, they draw a strength that accompanies their every step, a light that illuminates the darkness, a hope that overcomes doubts. They know that it is this activity that makes the difference between a passive believer and a committed chosen one, between a sleeping heart and an awakened one. This activity, if abandoned, opens the door to forgetfulness, misguidance, and estrangement from divine mercy. And this is why Allah promises those who sincerely practice it peace of heart, stability in faith, and a closeness that no trial can break. True faith, that of Allah's chosen ones, is not measured simply by external actions, but by the quality of the inner bond that unites the servant to his Lord. The spiritual activity of which we speak is in reality a striking proof of this deep faith, a sign that the heart is alive, sensitive, and in sincere search of divine closeness. Why is this so important? Because in a world where everything moves fast, where distractions abound, where superficiality is gaining ground, only those who take the time to stop, to delve into the word of Allah, can truly claim to be chosen. They are not just looking to check boxes or follow routines. They want to feel, understand, live the faith. This activity allows us to dig and dig deeper until we reach the very essence of the soul. It reveals what the everyday gaze cannot see: hidden doubts, ignored wounds, buried hopes. It exposes the truth behind the facades, and that is where faith becomes authentic, where it transforms into a powerful light that guides every step. The believer who engages in this activity learns to recognize the signs of Allah in his life, in nature, in trials, in successes. He no longer sees the world as mere chance but as a constant manifestation of divine wisdom. This understanding changes everything. It soothes troubled hearts. It restores meaning to struggles. It offers a peace that nothing else can give. It is also a way to guard against discouragement, that insidious poison that often lies in wait for those who advance on the path of faith. When you meditate on the words of Allah, you remember His greatness, His mercy, His promises. You remember that every trial has a purpose. Every difficulty is an opportunity for purification. Every dark moment prepares a new dawn. This activity is also a school of patience and perseverance. It teaches us not to rush, not to seek easy answers, to accept that faith is a journey, sometimes difficult, sometimes painful, but always precious. The elect know that it is in this patience that victory lies, and that this victory far surpasses the fleeting successes of this world. Finally, this activity transforms the believer's relationship with Allah. It is no longer based on fear or mere obligation, but on love, respect, gratitude. The servant begins to desire Allah for himself, to seek His company, to savor the sweetness of His remembrance. It is this relationship that makes the difference, that elevates, that purifies, and that prepares for the ultimate encounter. Without this activity, faith risks becoming superficial, cold, and lifeless. But with it, each day is a rebirth, each prayer a living encounter, each reading a balm for the heart. And this is what it means to be one of Allah's chosen ones, to cultivate that inner light that never goes out, even in the midst of storms. When this spiritual activity becomes an integral part of the lives of Allah's chosen ones, its effects are not limited to inner improvement alone. It brings about profound transformations, visible in every aspect of their existence, illuminating their path in tangible and lasting ways. These consequences, both spiritual and concrete, testify to the divine power at work when a servant fully engages in the sincere quest for proximity to Allah. On a spiritual level, the regular practice of this activity opens the doors to serenity. The believer finds refuge in the word of Allah, a haven where the torments of the world fade away. Intrusive thoughts, doubts, and worries give way to a profound inner peace, one that surpasses all understanding. This peace is a divine gift, a clear sign that the heart is being purified, that light is beginning to replace darkness. It then becomes a shield against trials, a strength that sustains the believer when life seems to want to crush him. Concretely, this activity also influences human relationships. A purified and appeased heart naturally tends toward gentleness, patience, and compassion. Those chosen by Allah become sources of peace for those around them. Their manner of speaking, of reacting to conflicts, and even of smiling, reflects this inner light. They embody the hadith of the Prophet who said, "The believer is the one whose people are safe from his tongue and his hand." Their behavior inspires trust, love, and respect, which opens doors that were previously closed to them. In daily life, this activity also allows for better management of material and emotional challenges. The believer, aware of the divine wisdom behind each event, learns to gratefully accept what life offers them, whether success or hardship. This acceptance is not resignation, but a quiet strength, a commitment to continue moving forward despite obstacles. They are the ones who succeed in transforming their difficulties into opportunities for growth and learning. This inner transformation gives rise to a new energy, a dynamism that pushes one to act for good, not out of obligation, but out of love and conscience. The servant is no longer content to perform acts out of routine, but seeks to embody the values of Allah in every gesture, every word. This is manifested in volunteering, charity, support for the weakest, and sincere commitment to the community. This is how the chosen one becomes an agent of light in a sometimes dark world. Finally, on a spiritual level, this activity increases one's closeness to Allah, which translates into visible responses to supplications, a strengthened sense of being guided, protected, and supported. The believer sees his efforts recognized by the Creator, which nourishes his love and devotion. This divine reward is the most precious, because it surpasses any earthly gratification. However, these blessings only come to those who persevere sincerely. It is not an instantaneous magic, but a patient, sometimes difficult, journey where consistency prevails. The chosen understand that each moment devoted to this activity is a stone laid on the bridge that leads to paradise. Thus, far from being just another practice, this activity is a true inner revolution, a lever that transforms the believer into a chosen one, living in light and peace. It is a precious gift, a responsibility, and an honor that only sincere hearts can truly understand and appreciate. The Quran and the Sunnah are our most precious sources for understanding the vital importance of this spiritual activity that distinguishes Allah's chosen ones. In several verses, Allah invites us to meditate, reflect, and delve into the heart of His Word to draw from it the light that illuminates our path. The Quran is not a simple book. It is a living guide, an eternal miracle, a message filled with wisdom and love. In Surah Muhammad 47:24, Allah says, "Do they not ponder the Quran, or are there locks on their hearts?" This divine question highlights an important reality. Meditation on the word of Allah is not optional, it is essential. The chosen are those who unlock these locks, who immerse themselves in the depths of the verses, who do not merely hear, but seek to understand, to feel, to live. The Prophet Muhammad, by his perfect example, showed us how fundamental meditation on the Quran is. He spent hours reciting, wondering, and weeping at the greatness of Allah and the beauty of His words. In an authentic hadith, he said, "The best among you is he who learns the Quran and teaches it. But more than that, it is the one who understands it and lives it in his daily reality." Many of the Prophet's companions were role models in this activity. Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, meditated extensively on each verse, seeking to apply divine guidance with rigor and sincerity. Ali ibn Abi Talib, may Allah be pleased with him, explained that meditating on the Quran is a light in the heart that never goes out. These examples illustrate the centrality of this activity in the lives of the chosen. The Prophet also warned against neglecting this meditation, which leads to spiritual dryness, weakness of faith, and the heart's distance from Allah. He said that the heart that does not humble itself before the divine word is like a piece of dead flesh, incapable of feeling the light. Furthermore, in the Sunnah, there are recommended practices to nourish this meditation: slow recitation, reflection on each word, careful repetition, and above all, application in daily life. It is not only an intellectual activity, but a lived experience that transforms. Scholars throughout the centuries have confirmed this importance. They have written entire works on the art of tadabbur, contemplation, and encouraged believers to devote time daily to this practice, despite the challenges and distractions of the modern world. Thus, this spiritual activity is not a contemporary invention or a mere tradition. It is at the very heart of religion, a moral and spiritual obligation for anyone who aspires to be among Allah's chosen ones. It is the royal path to purification of the heart, stability of faith, and closeness to the Creator. To refuse to engage in it is to risk losing oneself in the illusions of the world, to lose connection with the divine, and to live a superficial faith that does not withstand trials. But to embrace this activity with seriousness and love is to open oneself to an inexhaustible source of light and peace. Integrating this spiritual activity into your daily routine can seem like a challenge, especially in a world where time seems to be in short supply and distractions are on the rise. Yet, those chosen by Allah know that this practice is not an option, but a vital necessity, a source of strength and light that can transform every moment of their lives. So how can we make this activity a lasting habit, even when life is busy and responsibilities are numerous? The first key is to understand that it is not the quantity of time that matters, but the quality and sincerity of the time spent. A few minutes of deep meditation, a real pause to listen to the words of Allah, are worth far more than hours of mechanical recitation. It is a commitment of the heart, a conscious presence that makes all the difference. A chosen person does not seek to accumulate gestures, but to live each gesture with intensity and truth. Start by creating a sacred space in your day, a time when you disconnect from the hustle and bustle of the outside world to reconnect with your Lord. This could be at dawn, before the world wakes up, or at night, when all is quiet and hearts are more open. Find that moment when your soul is most receptive and dedicate it entirely to this activity. Turn off distractions, step away from screens, and let the word of Allah gently sink in. Next, take a gradual approach. Don't pressure yourself to be perfect from the start. Like any spiritual path, it's an uphill climb, a progression. Even 5 minutes a day, if sincere, is a solid start. Over time, this duration will grow naturally, driven by desire and the peace you feel. Don't fight your fatigue or your scattered mind, but invite them to subside gently, without judgment. Use tools that can help you. A Quran with translation and tafsir to better understand. Books for reflection, apps that offer guided meditations. But above all, keep in mind that this is not a simple study. It is an intimate conversation with Allah. Talk to Him, ask Him for guidance, confide in Him your doubts and your hopes. It is also essential to surround yourself with fellow believers who share this quest. A community, even a small one, can offer support, inspiration, and motivation. Sincere exchanges about what each person experiences in this activity nourish the soul and strengthen the will. The Prophet said, "A believer to a believer is like buildings that reinforce each other." Never underestimate the power of brotherhood on the spiritual path. Finally, be patient and forgiving with yourself. The path to divine proximity is fraught with pitfalls, moments of weakness and discouragement. But every sincere effort is recognized by Allah, no matter how small or insignificant it seems. Keep moving forward, even when you fall, even when you doubt. Consistency, however weak, is preferred to intensity, followed by abandonment. Never forget that this activity is a gift, an opportunity given by Allah to purify your heart, strengthen your faith, and elevate you spiritually. It is not a constraint, but a source of joy and inner peace, a light that illuminates the sometimes dark path of life. As we come to the end of this message, take a moment to feel what your heart is telling you. Do you feel that urgency, that inner thrill that compels you not to remain in the shadows, but to embrace the light? Therein lies the greatness of Allah's chosen ones, in their ability to hear this call, to rise up despite their weaknesses, and to choose the path of sincerity. The truth is that life is short, fragile, and full of trials. But it is also a unique opportunity, a precious chance offered by Allah to move toward Him. You have been chosen. Yes, you who are listening to this message have received a special light, a divine breath calling you not to miss this activity that transforms souls. Do not ignore this call. Do not extinguish this flame. Do not put off until tomorrow what your heart demands of you today. Allah's chosen ones are not those who never fall, but those who always rise again, those who acknowledge their weakness and turn to the Almighty with humility and love. They understand that closeness to Allah is not an acquired right, but a gift to be cherished and protected every day. And this activity we have mentioned, this sincere meditation, this time devoted to the divine word, is the key that keeps this door open. Don't wait for life to shake you violently to realize its importance. Don't let the weight of distractions keep you away from what really matters. Make the choice today, here and now, to open your heart, to reach out to Allah with determination and confidence. Say to Him, "O my Lord, I come to you as I am, with my strengths and my weaknesses, my hopes and my doubts. Guide me, purify me, illuminate my path." Remember that every sincere step toward Allah is met with mercy, that every glance toward Him is a light in the darkness, that every breath devoted to His word is a life-transforming act of worship. You are not alone on this path. Prophets, angels, and righteous companions have walked before you, guided by this same light. Their example is a beacon, their patience an inspiration, their love for Allah a strength. So don't let this video end without making a firm decision. Don't put off what your soul is calling for today, for time is passing and the door may close. Choose to be among the chosen ones who will never miss this sacred activity. Choose to be the one who nourishes their heart, strengthens their faith, and moves forward courageously toward the eternal light. And above all, and never forget, Allah is always near, ready to welcome the returning heart, to forgive sincere repentance, to open the doors of His infinite mercy. Take this promise to heart, and let it guide your every step.